A seismic verdict in a historic case. On June 11, 2025, the gavel fell in a Manhattan courtroom, delivering a verdict that reverberated across the globe. Harvey Weinstein, once Hollywood's untouchable mogul, was found guilty of sexual assault in his New York retrial. The conviction marks a pivotal moment in the #MeToo movement, a stark reminder that accountability can prevail, even for the most powerful. Weinstein's fall from grace, cemented by this latest legal blow, underscores a cultural reckoning that began with the courage of survivors who dared to speak out. The jury convicted Weinstein on one count of a criminal sexual act against Miriam Haley, a former production assistant on Project Runway, for an assault that took place in 2006 at his Soho apartment. The verdict, however, was not unanimous across all charges. Weinstein was acquitted on a separate sexual assault charge involving Kaja Sokola, and the jury remains deadlocked on a third-degree rape charge related to Jessica Mann, with deliberations set to continue. This partial victory for prosecutors does not alter Weinstein's 16-year sentence from a 2022 Los Angeles conviction for rape and sexual assault, but it reaffirms the legal system's resolve to hold him accountable. The road to retrial, a legal odyssey. Weinstein's legal saga has been nothing short of labyrinthine. His 2020 conviction in New York, a landmark moment for #MeToo, saw him sentenced to 23 years in prison for assaulting Haley and Mann. That triumph for survivors was short-lived, however, as New York's highest court overturned the conviction in April 2024. The appeals court ruled that the original trial was prejudiced by improper testimony, including allegations unrelated to the charges and excessive questioning about Weinstein's character. The decision sparked outrage among advocates, who feared it could undermine the progress of the #MeToo movement. The retrial, ordered swiftly after the ruling, became a test of the judicial system's ability to deliver justice without the flaws of the original proceedings. Prosecutors faced a daunting challenge. They needed to rebuild their case while adhering strictly to the court's guidelines, all under the intense scrutiny of a public divided between those who saw Weinstein as a symbol of systemic abuse and those who believed he was unfairly targeted. Weinstein's defense team, led by seasoned attorneys, capitalized on the overturned conviction, arguing that their client was a victim of a biased media narrative and an overzealous prosecution. The trial, a battle of narratives. The retrial unfolded over several weeks in a Manhattan courtroom, with prosecutors presenting a streamlined case focused on the allegations of Haley, Mann, and Sokola. Miriam Haley's testimony was central to the prosecution's strategy. She recounted in harrowing detail how Weinstein forcibly performed oral sex on her in 2006, describing a power imbalance that left her feeling trapped. Her emotional testimony, consistent with her 2020 account, was a cornerstone of the guilty verdict on the criminal sexual act charge. Jessica Mann, another key witness, alleged that Weinstein raped her in a Manhattan hotel in 2013. Her testimony, however, faced intense cross-examination from the defense, who questioned inconsistencies in her account and suggested the encounter was consensual. The jury's inability to reach a verdict on this charge reflects the complexity of the case, where the absence of physical evidence and the passage of time posed significant hurdles for prosecutors. Kaja Sokola's allegations, which centered on a 2002 assault, were dismissed by the jury, who acquitted Weinstein on this count. The defense argued that Sokola's claims, which surfaced years after the alleged incident, lacked sufficient corroboration. This acquittal highlights the challenges of prosecuting historical sexual assault cases, where memories fade and evidence is often scarce. Weinstein, now 73 and visibly frail, did not testify in his defense, a strategic decision likely aimed at avoiding a grueling cross-examination. His legal team instead focused on discrediting the accusers, portraying them as opportunistic individuals seeking fame or financial gain. They also emphasized Weinstein's contributions to the film industry, citing his role in producing Oscar-winning films like Shakespeare in Love and The King's Speech. This tactic, however, failed to sway the jury on the Haley charge, suggesting that Weinstein's once formidable influence no longer holds sway in the courtroom. The broader implications, #MeToo and beyond. The guilty verdict in Weinstein's retrial is a significant milestone for the #MeToo movement, which gained momentum in 2017 when dozens of women, including high-profile actresses like Ashley Judd and Gwyneth Paltrow, came forward with allegations against him. The movement exposed a culture of silence and complicity in Hollywood, where powerful men like Weinstein allegedly exploited their authority with impunity. The retrial's outcome reaffirms that survivors' voices can lead to tangible consequences, even in the face of legal setbacks. Yet, the mixed verdict also underscores the challenges of prosecuting sexual assault cases. The jury's deadlock on the Mann charge and the acquittal on the Sokola charge highlight the high burden of proof required in criminal trials, particularly when allegations span decades. Advocates for survivors argue that this reality necessitates broader systemic changes, including better support for victims and reforms to ensure fairer trials. Weinstein's case has also sparked a broader conversation about power dynamics in industries beyond Hollywood. From corporate boardrooms to political arenas, the #MeToo movement has exposed how unchecked authority can enable abuse. The verdict serves as a warning to those in positions of power. Accountability is no longer a distant prospect, but a real and present danger. Weinstein's future, legal and personal. For Weinstein, the guilty verdict adds another layer to his already complex legal predicament. His 16-year sentence from the Los Angeles conviction ensures he will remain behind bars, regardless of the New York retrial's outcome. However, the ongoing deliberations over the Mann charge could lead to additional penalties if a guilty verdict is reached. Weinstein's legal team has already signaled plans to appeal, citing irregularities in the jury's deliberations and what they describe as a tainted judicial process. On a personal level, Weinstein's health has deteriorated significantly since his incarceration. Once a towering figure known for his larger-than-life presence, he now relies on a wheelchair and suffers from multiple ailments, including diabetes and heart conditions. His physical decline has been a focal point for his defense, who argue that further imprisonment could amount to a death sentence. Prosecutors, however, maintain that Weinstein's health does not absolve him of his crimes. A cultural reckoning. Harvey Weinstein's guilty verdict in his New York retrial is more than a legal outcome. It is a cultural milestone. It reflects a society grappling with questions of justice, power, and accountability. For survivors of sexual assault, the verdict offers a measure of validation, a signal that their stories matter. For the #MeToo movement, it is a reminder that progress, though uneven, is possible. As the jury continues to deliberate on the remaining charge, the world watches closely. Weinstein's legacy, once defined by cinematic triumphs, is now indelibly tied to his role as a catalyst for change. His conviction serves as a testament to the resilience of those who spoke out and a warning to those who believe power grants immunity.